Hey, yo, before we even get this popping, I just wanted to say rest in peace to Tony Todd, who recently passed away. He played Candyman. Man, want to talk about impact on the culture. He was Candyman, of course, but he also played the voice of Venom in the second Spider-Man, the Spider-Man 2 video in the video game. And also Brad Venable, who played the voice of Venom in the actual movie, in just the first movie. He wasn't the second and third. They just used Tom Hardy's voice in the second and third one. So I just want to say rest in peace to those brothers before we even get started. Rest in peace, and may the gods welcome you with a warm embrace as you cross over into paradise. Humans, I am your herald of the gods. Look at it. Now look at me. And welcome back to the Culture Guys channel. It's your boy Mike Nix. Venom, The Last Dance, man. Let's dive into it, man, straight up. So it picks up where the last one left off. If you haven't seen the first two, you're not missing anything. That's the beauty of this movie. The first two movies, the first one obviously was the introduction to the symbiote human relationship and all that. Ripped straight out of the comics. Oh, damn, knocking shit over. They really didn't, they took a spin with Venom with this, you know what I'm saying, made him more R-rated, in terms of tone and shit like that. I absolutely loved it. Venom is not a good guy. And I love that they carried that over. Now, Eddie is a good guy. He's a loser. You know what I'm saying? He's a lame, but he's got a good heart, and what's really fucked up is, Eddie went through a lot of shit. This isn't the Green Lantern, you know what I'm saying? The pilot crashes, he finds the ring. Now he's, empowered with he's gifted with this new power, and he's got this new suit on. He feels great, and he's confident. He gets recruited to the Green Lantern Corps, and that's not Eddie, bro. Like, Eddie's life was going good, and he makes stupid decisions, and he fucked up his career, lost his girl in the process, and now this dude just been like fucked up since the first movie, and no friends, no new relationship. There was no love interest and nothing like that for 3 straight movies, and we never see that in a superhero movie, but we'll come back to that in a second. All right, picks up where the last one left off. Eddie he's talking about the snap, which is crazy. And I love it because in 2015, Sony and Marvel came to their first agreement of allowing the Spider-Man universe to melt on into the overall MCU, which if you a super geek nigga like me, you've been waiting for, because it's like, yo, we got everybody else. We've been waiting on Spider-Man, you know what I'm saying? So we got that. So now it's like, what's super dope too is what I didn't realize until after I walked out of the theater was Spider-Man is the only superhero in the entire MCU that has his own universe. And what I mean by that is he's got characters from his world that have their own movies, and they're all centered around him. If we're talking Morbius, if we're talking Craven, we're talking Venom. Venom has 3 movies. So that's 5 movies outside of Craven's coming, but pause. Craven's on the way, but that's 5 movies outside of Spider-Man that center around Spider-Man. I love that, man. So we'll come back to that too. Null is the main villain in this movie. So if you don't know who Null is, for the uninitiated, you know what I'm saying, the non-geeks out there, the niggas, the new niggas that's coming over here trying to see what's going on with the comics, and you dipping your pinky toe in the comic book world. Null is he's not even a super villain. So Null existed before the creation of the universe, right? So he lived in the void, which is just blackness, darkness. Nothing was there, which is kind of weird. He's a newer type of villain. He wasn't there in the very beginning when Stan Lee and them first created Spider-Man in the Spider-Man universe, you know. So all these different characters, of course, arc off of Spider-Man. Null is he's just a I don't even know how to explain it. He's just a monster, a guy, and he created the symbiotes. So when he created the symbiotes, apparently they turned on him and they trapped him inside of this, I would say, prison. You know what I'm saying? Now, the only way to get him out of prison is through this key. And the key exists and is created through Venom. When Venom attaches to a host that is a perfect match for him, the key appears. Okay. Now, we're going to break this down even further for the uninitiated. The xenophages. So Null is this all-powerful being. Again, he existed before the creation of the universe. Whatever religion you believe in, whatever gods you believe in, even before the culture gods. Whatever existence there was after the Big Bang, Null existed before that, which begs the question, like, yo, who created Null? Somebody had to create him. Something had to create him. Another video, another time. So he also creates these xenophages. Now, xenophages are these monsters, these creatures that hunt and destroy Venom. So, or any type of symbiotes. So they're attack dogs. You know what I'm saying? He sends them out there to go find the key so that he can escape from his prison. Now, we're going to come back to Null in a second, because it's an interesting thing that Null is in the MCU and the way he was underutilized, but made an appearance. It's so weird, man. Anyway, Venom holds the key. Now, in this movie, what I love about the Venom universe is that all three movies, they basically explore the relationship between Eddie and Venom. You know, they've got this kind of love-hate relationship for each other, but you can tell that the humanized portion and the good-hearted version of Eddie, or the part of Eddie that's really good, it seems to kind of affect Venom. Venom is just a monster, okay? The symbiotes are fucking monsters. But when they find a host, typically they take on the characteristics of that host, the deep genetic code of that host. So if the host is a good person, typically the symbiotes are going to be a good person. You see that later on in the movie when all the other symbiotes make an appearance in there. They don't say the names, and I'm not going to go over the names because you have to be a super comic book geek nerd to know all the symbiotes' names. Now I know Toxin, and I know Scream. I think her name is Scream or Shriek or something like that. And then there's one that's like purple, and I think she has like electricity or fire. I'm not fire, but electricity, and she can move real fast or something like that. But they make an appearance in this movie, but then they end up dying. So it's like, what was the point of them even being in the movie? But I guess it's just to say, oh, wow, fan service. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, but Eddie, you know, the first movie, they're just meeting each other. So it's rough. You know what I'm saying? Eddie and Venom, they beating each other up. They yelling and cussing each other out. The second movie, kind of the same thing. It's like Venom's trying his best to appease Eddie and say, hey, man, listen, I'm sorry, you know, this, that, and the third. So it's like, again, Venom's starting to become kind of good, you know, but then they end up splitting up. And so they go through that hardship. And then, of course, the second movie that leads to some other shit that I guess you could say in the third act, they come back together and they're good. But in this movie, it's less of them bickering and fighting, and they get along really well. But they start to both really think about all the shit they've been through. And they meet this family, and that's where the family comes in. So this family, the dad is trying to get to Area 51 because he's obsessed with aliens and UFOs. And you can tell they all love each other. And while Eddie is traveling to get to New York, so Eddie and Venom in the movie, Eddie promises Venom that he will take him to see New York. Believe it or not, that is the main plot of this story. Eddie and Venom love each other so much. Eddie is like, yo, look, before we die, you know what I'm saying, or get destroyed one day, because everything and everyone seems to just keep coming after us. Venom's like, yo, can we just go to NY, bro? Like, you know what I'm saying? Can we just like Get a slice of cheesecake, you know what I'm saying? Get some pizza, see the Statue of Liberty, you know what I'm saying? Go see the rundown Governor's Island now. I used to live on Governor's Island, by the way. Another story, another time. And, but so they're trying to make their way that way. And they keep coming across all these things and different people, but the family kind of humanizes him. So he's looking at this family, Eddie's looking at the family like, yo, man, I wish I had that. And Venom kind of feels him on it like, yeah, bro, like, damn, don't you wish we would have not gotten into all this bullshit, not ruined our relationship with old girl, you know what I'm saying? The mortality starts to sink in. Like, damn, I'm going to die. We're going to die one day probably. And we're never going to be able to feel any of this love and unconditional love from, another human being, So they're doing that. Meanwhile, the xenophages come. Now, there's a scene where Mrs. Chen makes another appearance in the movie, which I love Mrs. Chen. She's dope. But it's a choreographed dance scene with Venom and Mrs. Chen. And it is the weirdest, most awkward shit. And if you took these movies more serious, that right there would have snatched you out. But you don't go into a Venom movie going, man, I hope this movie wins an Academy Award. Let's see what my man got. You know what I'm saying? No, we don't do that. Okay. Venom is stripped straight out of the comics, made for all the edgelord kids out there that love to see anti-heroes do fucked up shit, bite heads off of people and shit like that. That's what this movie, caters to in a way. But it also caters to the comic book lovers too at the same time. And I don't think it is catering to the Academy to win a fucking Academy Award. So when you see weird shit like that in the movie, you're just kind of like, it's corny, but it is what it is. And we move past that. Now, here's something that threw me off. Chiwetel Ejiofor. He was Doctor Strange's kind of right-hand man in the first movie, if I'm not mistaken. The brother plays a sergeant in this movie. And when I seen his face, Chiwetel, he gives me PTSD, bro, as a black man. All right. And if you're not of the culture, all right, there's different cultures that you can belong to all at once. You know what I'm saying? That's why this channel is called The Culture Gods. But black culture, slavery was a real thing. And it affects us today. Now, if you haven't seen 12 Years a Slave, Chiwetel played Solomon Northup, who was, man, I'm not even gonna go into it, man, because it's giving me PTSD. But man, when I see his face now, that's the only movie I can fucking think about. And I swear, I was so scarred by that movie, I will never go back and watch that movie ever again. I was looking for the clip here just to kind of show you that he was in that movie. And even looking up that clip kind of did something to me mentally. So we just going to go in for my mental health. We're just going to move past this. But seeing his face kind of fucks me up now, just a little bit. Anyway, he did a phenomenal job, by the way. That movie was fantastic. 12 Years a Slave. If you haven't seen it, go watch it. But if you're black, just a fair warning. It's rough. But he played Modor, and I seen him here playing this sergeant. I'm like, damn, like, so he's got two roles in the MCU, but I know the snap, I know the multiverse, all that shit. And this is why I don't fuck with the multiverse as heavy. I wish they would go light on it. I wish they would just use it to show that some shit's changing and that's cool and leave it alone. Because when you have multiple characters like this with multiple faces playing multiple roles, sometimes people get lost. Fortunately, you don't have to watch the first two movies or see the Snap or any of the Marvel movies to love and know what's going on in this movie. That's the beauty of the Venom trilogy. Each movie is its own thing. It doesn't feed off of the last one. So coming into this one, had no problem catching up. So basically, Venom sacrifices himself at the end of the movie. And, it seems to be that's pretty much it. But we know that is not it for Venom. And I thought overall the movie was great. It was a Venom movie. It was everything I expected in a Venom movie. It's a human symbiote relationship. They're trying to cohabitate with each other. We've never seen anything quite like this in the superhero realm, which is why I love it so much. We got Superman, we got the capes and tight. We got Batman, who's, the edgy, dark, mysterious shit. We got the Avengers, loud, colorful, Hulk and Iron Man, explosions and shit like that. And then we got the grounded, characters too. But this is different. And again, I love that Spider-Man has his own universe. You know what I'm saying? I think that's just dope that he's got all these heroes that are arcing off, not heroes, but all these anti-heroes or characters that are arcing off of him. He's the only one in the MCU like that, and I love it. So we'll see what happens. Now, I know what you're asking. What's next? What happens next? Null never got released. Null never did anything. Null only sent his attack dogs out and gave some dialogue. Null wasn't even used in this movie. Now, I think it's to set up something bigger for him, but Null in the comics is, if not one of the, not I won't say if, one of the most powerful beings, period, in the universe. Bruh, he was here before the universe. So I always thought to myself, it was kind of weird that he was going to be in this third movie, because Venom ain't ready for that yet. Like Eddie and Venom, they ain't cool like that just yet to be like and powerful enough to be taking on Null by themselves. And Spider-Man damn sure ain't taking on Null by himself. So we'll see what's to come with Null. I believe he's gonna be the big bad that the entire MCU is gonna be centered around further down the line. And I believe some of the villains, Venom and even maybe Kraven and these guys, might team up with the MCU characters of the Avengers and the West Coast Avengers and all the other characters with Daredevil and all them to maybe take down Null, because he's that powerful. You thought Thanos was bad, bruh. Null is him. I'm telling you now. That's all I got. Hey man, if you watch the movie and you like the movie, did you not like the movie, get down in the comment section, let me know. I know I left some things out, y'all, but I try not to ramble too much because I'll go deep. You know what I'm saying? That I can go super deep when it comes to, we didn't even get into the different color parasites and the names and where they've made their first appearances and shit and how they, fit into the overall Spider-Man universe. That would be another 30 minutes, you know what I'm saying? But hey, post your comments down below. I'll see you on the next video. You better pull up on me. And you know what? You better not do it for me. You better do it for the gods.